it's just an honor, and I'm so proud of our team. And, it's just truly an honor that I've wanted to play here ever since I was a little kid, and it's a dream come true. And I'm so thankful to do it with such a great coaching staff, such a great team, and such great fans, and such an unbelievable university. It's really, really amazing.
Here come the Irish. What a run! Touchdown! Play of the year for the Irish.
Welcome to the Indy on NBC Podcast. I am your host, Corey Robinson. This is a big week. Why? It's the Shamrock Series. Why is that such a big deal? Well, this is almost like a bowl game in the middle of the season. It's a marquee game at an NFL stadium in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. I mean, come on, against BYU. Big game, big moment here coming off a bye week for Notre Dame football. So who else but Drew Pyne, the starting quarterback, to join the podcast to tell us about, hey, how's the team feeling? How'd the bye week go? How'd you recover? And looking ahead to this week, big game against BYU. It is my great pleasure to welcome starting quarterback Drew Pyne to the podcast. Drew, welcome. I first and foremost just want to talk about the bye week. As you just came off of it. How do you feel? Do you feel rested, recovered? What exactly does a bye week entail for the starting quarterback of Notre Dame?
Yeah, no doubt. I think, Coach Freeman really emphasized this bye week to get, our mental and physical, bodies and minds and everything else to just kind of relax. But also, we worked really hard last week in the bye week during practice. We didn't take that lightly at all. We went really hard in practice. And, I went back, had some time with my family. Some guys, was able to relax here. And, it was really good. And we feel really good going into this week.
When I never got to go back home when I was playing to go back to San Antonio to my high school to see a game or anything during the season. Yeah. What was it like for you? Because this is your dream. This is like you wanted to be the starting quarterback growing up. You wanted to be Brady Quinn. Now you're out there. You're doing it. What was that like walking around high school being that guy?
It was amazing. I come from an awesome town of New Canaan in Connecticut, and I went to New Canaan High School, and I went back when my mom was in the stands and I was in the field during the game, and I talked to the team before the game as well. And, I remember being in their shoes. I remember being on a knee and having my head coach, Coach Marinelli, who's one of the greatest Connecticut football coaches of all time. I remember, running out onto that field, and, I really cherish every moment of that. And I'm so happy that I'm able to go back to such an amazing hometown in New Canaan. And, I'm just very proud to be from there.
What did you tell the guys in the locker room beforehand? That's a big responsibility.
Yeah, actually, I've relayed a lot of messages that I've learned from Coach Freeman, and which is, choose to love your brothers, play for your brothers, and choose to do whatever you can for the man to your left and the man to your right, and go out there and have fun. And of course, I told them there's absolutely no feeling like running out on Dunning Field, which is our field in New Canaan, Connecticut, and I would love to run out on that field again. So. I just told him to enjoy the moment.
One thing, talking about loving your brothers, one thing I think is probably the most rare thing that I've seen in college football, at least in my experience, is that quarterback room run by Tommy Rees, that you guys actually love each other and there's no competition. Can you just talk a little bit about your relationship with Tyler Buckner and how you were able, I guess, how's that relationship now as he's recovering and you're now the starting quarterback?
Yeah, Tyler and I, off the field, I mean, we've always been really, really close friends, and that'll never change. And on the field too, I mean, we help each other, we compete against each other, and there's so many. I mean, him and I are the only people that are kind of went through competition together. So we're the only ones who kind of know exactly what it's like with each other, and we're also really good friends. So we were able to talk about it, and it's really sad that it's unfortunate, but it's a part of the game, and that Tyler got hurt. But he's going to come back and be great, and he's already doing some workouts. And I'll tell you one thing though, I tell Coach Rees to make sure that we get him out of that little workout thing during practice, because I want him behind me telling me what's going on in the defense. I want him being able to see things and come to me. And the other thing great about him is he tells me, technique-wise, what I need to do, because he's seen me throw so many times. He's seen me, how I'm looking with my eyes, and he knows what kind of player I am, and he does that to help me. tells me stuff like that every single day. So, I'm very thankful to still have him, and he's in great spirits and really helps the whole team.
So before we get into BYU, I just want to ask a little bit more about your development. You've led the team now to a few wins, which is awesome. All Notre Dame Nation is very happy. But when you look at your own game, what has been the biggest jumps for you the past couple of weeks when you go back and look at the film?
I think playing in college football, just the more reps you get and the more in-game reps and the more confidence you build, and kind of just the whole waterfall of playing and getting more reps is just something that really helps, I feel like, and being able to come to practice every single day and rep with those guys and be really intense in practice and trying to get ready for the game. I think the preparation side of it makes me better, but I also think playing in those games makes me better as well, and just adds confidence in synergy within the group. And it's something that I'm very happy and very proud to be, and I'm proud to lead these guys and doing everything I can.
It seems like you wouldn't be one to lack for confidence, though. I mean, isn't like you're one of your role models, Conor McGregor?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not as much as him, but he's one of my biggest role models, just because him and Ian did that. Watched so many videos of him my freshman year, and something that I've always say that Conor McGregor said was, there's only one thing that's impossible, and that's to beat a man that never gives up. So, any time I ever think of, taking the easy way in, I always think of that. And, my parents always told me to never ever give up. So, I just really like his mentality. I don't know all the trash talking. I mean, that might not be my side of things, but, the mentality of what he does is awesome.
So this week with BYU, when you look at the film, you're breaking it down. When you see BYU's defense, what jumps out about that core and that unit?
I think they're a very good defense. I think, their defense coordinator coaches them really well, and their head coach does as well. And they all play extremely hard. All those guys play really hard. They have a lot of guys, different guys playing on defense, and they bring a lot of different coverages and fronts, and we just got to be ready for it. And that's what we're doing. We're preparing every single day, and they're a very, very good defense, and they're very sound and disciplined in what they do, and they play with a lot of heart. And so we just got to prepare as hard as we can to be able to attack them.
When you play in that environment like a Shamrock Series, how do you prepare to play in like Allegiant Stadium?
Honestly, something that stuck with me, Coach Freeman said this in a team meeting before, in the summer is, football field is 120 yards by 53 1/3. And when you're in between those white lines, that's all that matters. And, you could go from, like I said, going from Dunning Stadium in New Canaan to coming and practicing in this facility, or practicing at or playing in Notre Dame Stadium, or playing in Allegiant Stadium. It's 120 yards by 53 1/3. And in between those white lines is, that's our domain. And that's a sport I've played my whole entire life, a sport I've loved my whole life. And so, when I step in between those white lines, I'm ready to go. And like Coach Freeman said, that's our domain.
When you think about the green jersey game, this is something that I just want to ask personally, because it's like there are very few things cooler than a green jersey game at Notre Dame, right? Like, being a fan of the program that you have been, could you just kind of explain what was going through your mind when you said, okay, I'm going to put on the green jersey and run out at Notre Dame Stadium? Like, how do you process that?
I don't think you really process it until you run out of the tunnel and see, 80,000 people wearing green, and, seeing the whole fan section going crazy. I'm so happy to be friends with a lot of students and playing for such a great university, having fans that care so much. It's just an honor, and I'm so proud of our team. And, it's just truly an honor that I've wanted to play here ever since I was a little kid, and it's a dream come true. And I'm so thankful to do it with such a great coaching staff, such a great team, and such great fans, and such an unbelievable university. It's really, really amazing.
How do you balance the reality that you're living your dream with, hey, we got to get the work done. I'm trying to win a national championship.
I think you just got to, like you said, you just got to do everything you can to prepare. And, have no time to think about any of that stuff because, I don't really get distracted at all by anything. I'm on socials and stuff like that. So I don't really try to get distracted. I just focus on the plan, and the plan is to do everything you can to prepare the best you can for this weekend. And that's all that I do is, I don't worry about anything else. I obviously got to keep up in school. Notre Dame's a great academic university, and I got to keep up in school, and I talk to my family, but it's about it. I just play football, and I try to prepare as hard as I can to help our team succeed.
So now every time we talk to, your teammates, we always like bringing in the student aspect of the student athlete experience. So can you kind of give us that Notre Dame intro, where you lived, like the major, your favorite classes this semester?
Yeah. So my first semester here, I lived in O'Neill Hall, and I was a finance major. I'm now an American Studies major, and I take a bunch of American Studies classes, which is awesome. I love it. Michael Mayer and I are a bunch of classes together, and Kevin Bauman, and I love classes. I think this university is awesome. I think the professors every single professor cares about the students. It's really unbelievable, and I'm so lucky to be here. The students are awesome. I'm just so lucky to be a part of this university.
Why the change from finance to American Studies?
I don't know. I don't know. But I have an econ minor, and I graduated in the spring, and I've, including this year, 4 years of eligibility left, and so I've a bunch of time to do a bunch of other stuff in the business school and things like that. So I'll be all set.
Are you thinking about getting like a graduate degree, like an MBA or something like that?
I don't know. I'm taking it one day at a time, but I have time to do it, and my dad told me. It doesn't matter if you work 41 years or 40 years. If you're staying in school as long as you can, because college is some of the best time of your life with the best friends and stuff like that. So, I'm just taking it one day at a time. I'm just trying to graduate with a good GPA on this spring. So,
you mentioned you have a lot of friends in the student section. It's funny because it seems as though the older you get as a football player, you kind of lose contact with some of the guys and some of the students on campus. Have you been able to maintain those friendships and relationships, and I guess how important are those to your student experience at Notre Dame?
I think going out of your way in classes and talking to people in classes is something that I love to do. I have an awesome girlfriend who introduces me to everybody because she doesn't think that I'm not too involved in campus, and I agree because it was really tough for me. I came here in 2020 when COVID happened. So, we lived off campus, and I wasn't able to go on campus enough. And so, just people like that, drag me back on campus. Well, not drag me. I want to go back on campus because I know that I'm surrounded by such great people who work their tails off to get here and are also great people. So, my girlfriend's introduced me to a ton of people, and just going out of my way in class and stuff like that because I think it's really important.
Okay, now it's time for the lightning round, Drew. So I was going to ask some quick fire questions to you, and you just rattle off some answers.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you remember the first touchdown pass you ever threw? No. The
earliest touchdown pass I can remember in high school, yes, but I started when I was really, really young, and I played flag football. I played tackle. My first play ever was a touchdown. I scrambled. It was a naked to the right. It was my first play ever in tackle football in Harrison, New York. I completely remember that. It was kind of raining, and I was on the left hash. I rolled out right from under center and went down the sideline, and I was wearing number 26 as a quarterback. It was kind of crazy. So,
how do you remember that?
I don't know. We were the Giants. We were blue, and I think we were playing the Cardinals.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's impressive. Yeah. This is a lot easier. Favorite football player growing up?
Freddie Quinn.
What about a quarterback that you would swap places with? And this could be any era, college or professional.
Swap place with?
Yeah.
Tom Brady. I mean, that's no doubt.
Do you have a guilty pleasure?
I don't know. I can't think of anything right now.
No ice cream, no
Oh.
no sweets.
Oh no, actually, Tyler and I have a little bit of a sweets problem. Not a problem, but once a day probably, one or twice, or some. If we see a little small piece of candy, we'll have it, but we don't do it a lot, so it's not a bad thing.
Are you binge watching any shows right now? What are you watching?
I tried when the House of Dragons came out, and I didn't have enough time to keep up with it, so I really don't watch anything.
And last one, your favorite spot on campus to visit?
I think definitely the Basilica. I think, there's been so many times where I've gone there and just sat by myself. It's such an amazing place because if you go there sometime at night when there's nobody there, you just go sit there in one of the pews and, just look at the artwork and kind of just sit there and reflect on everything for 20 minutes. I walk out every single time feeling so much better. And, I did that a whole lot last year, and I'm still doing it today. So, I think I'm really lucky to have that on campus.
Wonderful. Well, we're lucky to have you as a Notre Dame man. Thank you very much, Drew, for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Make NBC Sports Predictor a pregame ritual every week. Play Irish Pick'em for free and have a chance to win $10,000 each week. Rush the end zone and download NBC Sports Predictor app today on the App Store and Google Play Store. Thanks, Drew. It's always a pleasure at any time to talk to Drew. He's such an interesting young man. But this is it. The Shamrock Series. You play all over the country in the biggest arenas and stadiums. And what's fascinating when I think about the Shamrock Series, I think about Fenway. I think about Yankee Stadium. I think about Jerry World. I think about you're playing in some of the coolest arenas in the country, and you're Notre Dame. You're bringing all that attention to it. So it's a big deal for Notre Dame football, and also you get to wear really cool outfits, like the new threads that you get exclusively for the Shamrock Series is very cool. There's a whole unveiling thing. I'm sure you saw the Hangover parody to announce this one that went super viral, millions of views. This time, what stands out to me, though, is the moment here. Notre Dame trying to break this deadlock, go into the positive here as far as in the wins column over losses, and take on BYU. So this is really interesting because of if it means a lot to Notre Dame, you can guarantee it means a lot to the opposing team. One thing that was always pitched to us when we were talking, and getting ready for games is, this is the one game on the schedule that's always nationally televised. It's a big deal because your opponent, you don't know how many televised games they get. Sometimes we get a little, I don't want to say, you kind of take it for granted, that you're always on national television. So the fact that you get to play at an NFL stadium on national television in this environment, this is a big game for BYU. And I expect them to take this, very seriously. One of the issues you see sometimes with teams coming off a bye week is that they're a little sleepy, a little off your rhythm, particularly after a couple wins in a row, to then take a week off. So that's why when Drew said that they practiced very hard heading into the bye week, that kind of shows you the mentality. They're trying to continue the momentum to make sure that they don't dip, that they actually get better here. And we'll see. We'll see if that's the case. We'll be back next week with reactions to the matchup versus BYU and preview Notre Dame's next contest versus Stanford, which, you can believe this, first game in South Bend in 4 weeks. Wow. So be sure to download and subscribe to the Notre Dame on NBC podcast on the NBC Sports YouTube channel and wherever you get your audio.